If you've ever felt like your brain is caught in a tug-of-war between wanting structure and then actively rebelling against it, or your thoughts are going 100 miles per hour constantly, but you also need longer processing time than other people, especially in conversations, or you process it days or months later. Hey Debbie, I think I got it. Well, you just might be an autistic ADHDer or an AUDHDer. And let me tell you, having both together in one brain is absolutely insane. So today we're breaking down 5 signs it's AuDHD. Because why have just one neurotype when you can have 2 that directly contradict each other constantly? Let's get into it.
Number 1, you create a million tasks and then get paralyzed by the overwhelm.
Today's your day to get organized. You sit down, make a beautiful to-do list, maybe even color code it. Add a few sticky notes or dozens of sticky notes. And while you're at it, you'll just jot down a few other projects you've been meaning to get to. Oh, but those mean extra steps. Picking up supplies. Okay, write it down. There you go. Step back. And for a moment, everything feels possible until your brain catches up to the tasks and what you've just assigned yourself. Now you realize just how many steps are involved. Why would someone think you could do that much? Wait, was that me? Now you're running back to your bed. Need to hide from the attack of the list that's clearly out to get you, or to make sure you don't even start. Because how can you start when there's so much involved and you're feeling really, really shy? It's the ultimate contradiction. You want to do things. You usually keep yourself really busy, but your ADHD brain is often jumping from task to task because they're all important. And so is the deep research you're now doing on the absolute best cleaning system for oak tables. And how about that original task list? Don't ask that. That seems like a pointed question. But does much get done? Sometimes. Not if another thing pops up in the middle that pulls you elsewhere. But you had to go down that rabbit hole. You needed the information before you can continue to the next thing. Wait, what was the next thing? There are too many things. So many things, and where to begin? Now you're overwhelmed. It's too much. Retreat to the bed and hide. And by the way, where did this mess come from? Your autistic brain will often hate any clutter. Clutter in the brain or in your space. The trick is keeping things manageable based on what works for you. Like making a list of your top 3 things to accomplish for the day. Small things, parts of larger tasks, not something like clean the house, because that in itself could become so much more than a day of cleaning. So something like clean the living room. That'll give you a short purpose and clear goals. Less chance of overwhelm and a way to start quickly. Get that win, which both parts of your brain will love. Number 2, you crave routine, but also fight it every step of the way. There's something comforting about structure, especially for autistic brains. Predictability makes life easier, reduces decision fatigue, and helps avoid that feeling of floating through space with no direction. But the second you tell yourself you have to do something, your brain goes, actually, no. And now, let me play that conversation that happened 17 years ago on repeat. Bedtime is a classic. You know you function better with sleep. You set a bedtime. You have a plan for the next day that hinges on getting sleep. But now that it's a scheduled thing or a rule, well, if you're autistic and also have ADHD, and especially if you have the PDA profile, you probably feel like the rule makes it something you particularly don't like. You know you need it, but doing it feels like a demand. And you don't like demands. It feels too restrictive, even when you're the one making the demand. And then add in your super active ADHD brain, and now it's 2 a.m. and you're watching your 10th video on how to create earthen bricks using the soil on your own land, with machines that you don't have, on land that you don't own yet. So you know you need routines and predictability, especially to keep your autistic brain from having meltdowns constantly. But you also actively create ways to not keep the routine. And your ADHD brain loves spontaneity, like deep diving into new interests when it's bedtime, or sporadically booking a trip when actually you don't sleep well anywhere except your own bed. The best way to help your brain? Flexible routines. Instead of, I must sleep at 11 p.m. It's, I get into bed around 8 p.m. and then I start winding down. Enough structure with enough freedom so your brain doesn't rebel. And if you want a visual with more key traits of autism and ADHD so you can really visualize all the chaos that's going on in there, we've got a free download in the description. Now back to the list. Number 3, you want to be around people until you actually are. Socializing sounds great in theory. You get the urge to be around people, you make plans, and for the first 20 minutes, it's fun. And then your social battery drains instantly. The irony? Sometimes it's actually you, your idea, your setup, your plans. in one of those moments of ADHD impulsivity. So you might even be in your house with these friends, but now they're all here in your space and you need to hide. This is one reason why the holiday season can be especially draining for neurodivergent people, and especially for autistic ADHDers. It's excitement and wanting to be around people you love, and simultaneously wanting to hide for the next 6 months. So when you have those social urges, but you feel paralyzed by the realization that being around people takes so much energy, you go from excited to exhausted in minutes. So then you're desperately trying to get a break without being weird about it. Or you're zoning out because you're overwhelmed and shutting down. Or interrupting because you want to say what you want to say, and ADHD impulsivity pushes you to get it out there. And mix in the autistic tendency not to get social cues exactly right for knowing when to jump in, and before you know it, you've interrupted for the 5th time. And what can you do? Well, if you're like me, the only way to go is forward. So you're fully engaged, oversharing, info dumping, and carrying the whole conversation. You're a one-man show, telling everyone about your earthen brick house design plans, with a stone foundation, a thermal mass wall, and a shark tank. The glossed over looks start. So then you're slowing down, crashing mentally, and it's only been 20 minutes. I mean, you do like these people, but you need an escape. Yes, it was your idea, but how did you forget that socializing drains your mostly depleted autistic battery faster than basically anything else? What's really happening here? Where can I go? How long could I be in the bathroom before someone sends for help? So the best way to handle it? Pre-plan breaks. Give yourself an out, like a break by going and prepping some snacks, or cleaning up some dishes. Or if you're out instead of at home, say you need to take a call outside, and then just get some fresh air and a few minutes of quiet. Number 4. You love the idea of being out and about until sensory overload takes over. Getting out of the house or a familiar setting, like your workplace, might feel like a great plan. Maybe you're going to a new coffee shop to get work done with a colleague. Seems like a great idea, right? A nice cafe, a little background noise, and productivity mode on. ADHD loves the stimulation. New environment, people watching, something different. So you get there, and for the first few minutes, it's great. Then suddenly, it's all too much. The espresso machine is making horrible screeching sounds. The chairs are weirdly uncomfortable. There's an air conditioning unit that hums at exactly the wrong frequency. And why is the barista acting like he's working the ER? The stress seeping out of this dude is impacting the vibes. Now that you think about it, why does it seem like everything is happening everywhere all at once? So suddenly, your brain is spending all its energy just processing the environment instead of actually doing any work. Every clang of a dish or peal of sudden laughter, these all feel like an onslaught. And no, you can't just tune them out with noise-canceling headphones when you also need to occasionally chat with your colleague, which means that now your autistic brain is screaming for an escape while the ADHD side still wants to power through. ADHD brain, don't do something weird. It's not that bad. Is that John Mayer playing? Did I order nachos? Nope. No distractions for autistic brain. It's already halfway into shutdown mode, regretting every life choice that led to this moment. So you can't focus, you can't relax, and you're caught in a battle between, let's keep it going, and if I don't leave immediately, I might explode. The fix? Know your sensory limits. If working in a cafe sounds fun, but always turns into a disaster, a quiet corner at home or a familiar spot might be the better option. And learn to recognize when sensory limits are approaching, before they hit full overload. But also, giving yourself permission to leave when your brain says enough. Because it's tiring enough having the pull in your brain. But then if you feel like you have to explain, it's often too much. Number 5, your energy levels are wildly inconsistent. Some days you feel unstoppable. You're hyperproductive, multitasking like a pro, and your brain is on fire. And then the next day you crash so hard, it's like you've been hit by a truck with a snowplow. Your body needs rest, but ADHD brain is screaming, we should keep going. We got 25 things to do today. An autistic brain is just overwhelmed by ADHD brain and exhaustion from whatever made you crash in the first place, and life in general, because being autistic is stressful. So how does this look? You're probably someone who looks like they have frequent mood swings and massive energy changes, especially across days and weeks. And a lot of that is because there really is a war going on in your head and body. ADHD thrives on movement and activity, constantly seeking dopamine. It pushes you to do things by being impulsive and always moving. The autistic side needs recovery time and structure and seeing things through to completion. This is especially true after socializing, overstimulation or overexertion, which happens a lot when you have ADHD mixed in there. And for me, ADHD tends to be louder. So it convinces me to go do that thing, to keep going, keep pushing through until my autistic brain hits a full meltdown or shutdown because I've ignored my limits for too long. And then it's a complete and fairly horrible experience when the autistic brain really pushes back. Sometimes where I'm in bed for hours or even days because I am so exhausted. It's really like my autistic brain hits the brakes hard, and this often comes with physical symptoms. So what can you do? Recognize when your body needs rest before it forces you to stop. If your brain is in go, go, go mode, but you're also feeling the pull from your body or your brain, you pause and hear it saying, "Whoa there, buddy. Let's hold off a bit." Listen to it. Good God, man, listen to me! Finding a balance between activity and recovery is hard for everyone, especially with how fast-paced today's world often is. But when you're neurodivergent, ignoring it will only make things worse. And anyone with autism, ADHD combo will know the other hard truth. We're used to pushing through exhaustion, being told we need to try harder, being told it's us. And it's what often leads to burnout, chronic stress, and exhaustion, and more. But it's not that something is wrong with us. It's that our brains have a lot happening behind the scenes, and only we know it. So that's why we have to work with our brains to figure out our needs in order to help ourselves not just survive, but thrive. So if any of this sounded familiar, let me know in the comments. Which one got you the most? And if you have your own AuDHD signs to add, I want to hear them. And for more on autism and ADHD, watch this next. Good God, man! Do better! Okay, listen to it, listen to it, listen to it. Cut! Whew.